Hello and welcome back. I am going to continue with the water. The foundation is my very last part that I am going to conclude this little mini session with. Remember, the house is about you. We're still talking about you, and it will always be you. I'm on the plumbing. We dealt with the electric. Now I'm on the plumbing. It's important how you flow with yourself, but also letting you know that if I had my class today, everybody would get one of these little funnel things. You use this a kitchen utensil that you use. I would try to get you as close to the plumbing here for this house so you will understand it. And what you would do in my class, I would have you to write down as many notes as you can on this so it can remind you that you were part of the step-by-step teaching. And I wanted to get you as close to this, as close to the plumbing, even though I could have gotten little small tubes of pipes that they would use in a house. But I thought this was more beneficial and it was more funner because it's really about a flow. That's what this is about, is how important that you flow, with yourself. And so the plumbing here in this house has a problem. There's a major water problem in the house. And this is what has caused the abandonment. And so what we do is take the funnel and we put our names on the funnel. When I use this in the kitchen to pour anything that has a bigger opening into a smaller opening, it's important that I get everything in. And so I use this utensil. It helps me, it assists me. It's what I need in order for the liquid that I'm pouring or whatever to get into the bottle correctly. And so what I am saying is that your flow is important when we're looking at a water that goes through the plumbing. The only way that it could be a plumbing problem is when the water is backed up or the pipes are no good in the house. But I'm talking about the flow of the water and how important that water goes through those pipes, how well it travels through those pipes. And so what I want to talk about is your steadiness and your movement and how well you handle situations, how well you handle problems. And so I want you just to take a moment and to write. I that's what I was doing when I came on, was writing how well we flow with ourselves. How do we handle things and situations that come up in our lives? That take a moment and think about that just a second. How well do you handle the problem and the benefit of managing or controlling the situation without falling to pieces? And so I wrote here, which is very good, because in my class I will have you write how well I go through situations here. How well do I go through situations? And this is about being honest. And anything can bring a stop up. Anything, something put down in the pipes too old. Those things. We're about change. And with change, there has to be an adjustment. You have to think about, what do you have to change to improve in handling situations and problems, to problem solve Um, you have to think about or mentally know how you perform. When you see people in their mind state performing different other than what they need to do to handle the problem is a question. And you know that that person has ran away, and problems don't come or situations don't come for us to run, they come for us to deal with them. You have to deal with the problem. So mentally, how do you act? How do you take certain situations and problems? Think about it. How well do you handle those things? And you hold this up again. Remember my flow. You're flowing with yourself without any hiccups. Those will come in life, but you know it's important that whatever's poured in here travels through correctly. And how well you go through it is important. If this was no good, I wouldn't use it again. But you know the good part about this, and thank God I'm a woman of faith. God always uses or gives us another chance to be used again. And sometimes life beats you up so bad that you feel that you cannot be used again. And I'm here to let you know you can. You can handle it again. You can do it better this time. And that is through just listening. I find that sometimes it's difficult to follow instructions without having some sort of pride in thinking or knowing I don't need someone else to help me, or just giving little bits when all the time you need all of it. It's not shameful for anyone that's reaching out for help. That's not shameful. When pride come in, it has to show, whereas this is not all for me. I'll take bits and pieces, but really, I have it together. But in all actuality, they don't have it together. Pride does not let you show yourself in the nakedness of who you are. It shows that I got it together. But with everything taken off, you see that there's much help that is needed. And having the ability to manage a situation or problem properly without walking away, without saying I quit, it's just too much for me. Many times people they take time for themselves just to relieve the stress, which is good. But not all the time when we have that me time or time away, do we come back and work on the problem? We have to work on my thought process. Fixing me is not fixing the outside. It's growing up on the inside. It's facing the problem properly without running or making excuses or acting as though I don't need the help, or this is not really all for me, or trying to function in distance. It's okay to just be you here. Let's just be ourselves for a moment, and we can be honest with each other and say, hey, I feel just that way, but you're not a bad person. What I'm saying to you today, get up and come back. You come back and you handle it better. In other words, you have control of it. You can control it. You can, without being a slave to your thoughts. And when your thought is the driver and it's not a good thought, then what you're doing is driving under the control of negativity. And no telling where you're going to where you're going to wind up to, because the thought is not good. And so you're driving on something that is a lie, that has no truth in it. It has no truth. And you're believing those things. You're believing you can't handle it. You're believing that you don't have the ability to manage that. Oh, yes, you can manage it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can manage this. Remember, our thought is the driver. Our thought is the driver. Are you the negative one, or are you the positive one? The negative drives and drives and drives and drives. It has no stopping point. The positive says, this is where I must turn in, stop my car, and realize I can deal with this. It is assured, because properly it's going to do it in steps. And the first step is to acknowledge that it's there. Now, number 2, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, having the ability to manage a situation properly, it is important how you handle it. It is important how you control the situation. It is important. You got to learn how to improve in the weak area of change. Good change. How do I improve? You improve first knowing and getting all the goodies that there's a benefit. There is a benefit of knowing how to manage your situations and problems. One is an answer, because that's what we want. That's what you want. You want an answer. You want results in outcome. But there's a process that we take to get to those answers, those solutions. We concluded with the answer. I don't know what your problems are. All I know is what I've dealt with and how I learned how to manage situations without involving the community. Without involving people who do not necessarily belong there. Gonna break a minute. I'll be right back.